and like that, so children must follow father's name, and there's
Talking about North Korea, the country is notoriously secretive due to its strict foreign policies. Much of what the world knows revolves around the Kim Jong-un family, the nuclear projects, the tense relations with South Korea, and North Korea's staunchly anti-American stance. However, there are many aspects of North Korea that pique curiosity, particularly the lives of women there. Comparing North Korean women with their South Korean counterparts, who are renowned for their beauty, often enhanced by advanced plastic surgery techniques, reveals striking differences. Let's start with a seemingly irrational rule. North Korean women are forbidden from wearing pants. This peculiar regulation mandates that women must wear skirts when they step outside their homes. The rule is so strict that a woman can be detained and interrogated by the police if caught wearing pants in public. This prohibition on pants symbolizes a woman's submission to men, as women in pants are perceived as less feminine and more likely to rebel. The enforcement of this rule has intensified, especially after North Korea faced a birth rate crisis, which reportedly brought tears to dictator Kim Jong-un. While linking the low birth rate to the wearing of pants seems illogical, the true cause of declining population numbers is more plausibly tied to the poor quality of life in North Korea. Many people are reluctant to bring children into a life of oppression and hardship. The North Korean government's focus on such restrictive dress codes, rather than addressing the real issues affecting birth rates and quality of life, seems misguided. The harsh living conditions discourage many from having children. Yet, the regime attributes the problem to factors like women's clothing choices. Additionally, women are also prohibited from riding bicycles, as this is seen as granting them too much independence. These rules are just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the stringent control over women's lives in North Korea. The country's focus on maintaining strict gender roles and controlling the personal freedoms of its citizens paints a picture of a society where the government's priorities often ignore the real needs and desires of its people. The prohibition against women wearing pants in North Korea seems even more absurd when considering their daily lives. Unlike Ri Sol-ju, the First Lady, who appears elegantly dressed in public, the reality for most North Korean women is starkly different. An astonishing 69.65% of women in North Korea are part of the workforce, but their jobs are far from glamorous. These women are not office workers, entrepreneurs, or government employees who can wear badges and dress up every day. Instead, they are often engaged in physically demanding labor, such as construction workers, vegetable sellers, or fish and meat vendors. The situation becomes even more paradoxical when considering the conditions under which these women work. Many of these jobs, particularly those involving the sale of vegetables, fish, or meat, are conducted in black markets. These women cannot afford the luxury of using trucks or other transportation means for their goods. Consequently, they have to carry their heavy merchandise by themselves, often over long distances. Given the physically strenuous nature of their work, the enforced dress code of wearing skirts or dresses seems highly impractical and uncomfortable. It is illogical to impose such attire on women whose daily lives involve hard labor and significant physical exertion. Forcing them to wear skirts or dresses while performing physically demanding tasks only adds to their hardships. Delving into the lives of North Korean women, particularly those who make up more than 65% of the workforce, reveals a harsh reality. Many women work not just to support themselves, but to sustain their entire families. This situation often places them in the role of the primary breadwinner, as detailed by Yeonmi Park, a women's rights activist who escaped from North Korea. According to Park, it's common for North Korean women to be the sole providers for their families. Meanwhile, their husbands may remain unemployed, spending their days loitering, drinking, or gambling. In many North Korean households, it is the woman who works tirelessly to put food on the table while the husband leads an idle life. This dynamic is not just an occasional occurrence, but a widespread reality, as Park's observations suggest. The burden of providing for the family often falls on the woman, who must navigate the complexities and dangers of the black market. Working in the black market is fraught with risks. Since these markets are not officially sanctioned by the government, women working there are vulnerable to crackdowns by the authorities. Raids are frequent, and women often face harassment or abuse from security personnel. The constant threat of persecution adds another layer of difficulty to their already challenging lives. North Korean women, therefore, face a multifaceted struggle. They must work hard to support their families, often in illegal and dangerous conditions, while their husbands contribute little to the household. The government's oppressive policies, combined with the precarious nature of the black market, create a perilous environment for these women, exacerbating the hardships they endure. The challenges faced by married women in North Korea extend far beyond financial struggles. Yeonmi Park, a women's rights activist who escaped from North Korea, provides a detailed account of these issues, highlighting the immense domestic burden that women bear. In addition to being the primary earners for their families, North Korean women are also expected to take full responsibility for all household chores. This includes cooking, cleaning, washing, and taking care of the children. Essentially, women are expected to manage the entire household without any help from their husbands. The expectation for women to handle all domestic tasks stems partly from the North Korean military's perception of men. The regime views every man as a potential soldier who must be well cared for to ensure they are always in peak condition, ready to fight if war breaks out. Consequently, women are burdened with the additional responsibility of maintaining their husband's well-being. This militaristic perception further exacerbates the hardships of North Korean women, who must juggle demanding jobs and exhaustive domestic responsibilities. Despite their significant contributions to both the workforce and the household, women in North Korea have fewer rights than men. For instance, upon marriage, women are required to adopt their husband's first name, abandoning their own. Additionally, there is a deeply ingrained cultural practice where women must wait until their husbands and sons have finished eating before they can eat themselves. This practice reflects a broader societal view that places women in a subordinate position within the family hierarchy. When discussing North Korea, it's impossible to overlook the unique situation of beautiful women in the country. Genetically, North Korean women aren't much different from their South Korean counterparts. This means there's a high probability that women with visuals rivaling K-pop stars like Jisoo from Blackpink or Karina from aespa exist in North Korea. However, possessing such striking beauty in North Korea can be more of a curse than a blessing. Let's explore why. One of the most disturbing aspects of this situation is the existence of the Gipyeumjo, often translated as the Pleasure Squad or Joy Division. As the name suggests, this group is tasked with providing pleasure to high-ranking North Korean officials. What's truly shocking are the strict qualifications for joining this squad. The requirements range from standard beauty criteria to deeply troubling demands. These include conventional beauty standards, fair skin, slim face, height of about 165 cm, and a soft voice. Age requirement: shockingly young, typically between 13 and 15 years old. Virginity, which is verified through medical examination. Disturbingly, schools often recommend female students for the Gipyeumjo. Each year, approximately 40 schoolgirls are subjected to the selection process for this squad. Those who are chosen are divided into several groups with different roles, such as waitresses, dancers, singers, and masseuses, including those providing full-service massages. The fate of these Gipyeumjo members is grim, extending far beyond the nature of their work and those they're forced to serve. The members of the Gipyeumjo typically face severe isolation from the outside world. They're often cut off from all contact with their families for up to a decade. At around age 25, many of these women are finally released back to their families, but under strict conditions. They must agree never to disclose any information about their activities during their time in the Gipyeumjo. For years, the existence of the Gipyeumjo was often dismissed as mere fantasy. However, as more testimonies have emerged, belief in its existence has grown. Some of these accounts come from highly credible sources. Kim Jong-nam, a member of North Korea's ruling family who died in Malaysia, spoke about the Gipyeumjo. Kenji Fujimoto, who served as a sushi chef for the Kim family for 10 years, also provided testimony about the group's existence. Beyond the Gipyeumjo, beautiful North Korean women face another grave danger: human trafficking, particularly in China. China is often the primary escape route for North Korean refugees. Tragically, many women who successfully flee North Korea find themselves tricked and sold into human trafficking networks. Those with attractive features are particularly targeted. A stark example of this is the story of Che Ran. She only managed to escape from the man who had bought her after being forced to be his wife for 20 years. These two scenarios starkly illustrate the perilous situation beautiful women in North Korea face. Remaining in North Korea could mean conscription into the Gipyeumjo. Escaping to China risks falling victim to human trafficking. These shocking facts about the plight of North Korean women serve as a sobering reminder. They make us grateful for living in countries with greater safety and respect for human rights.